Hey, I want to take a moment to talk about the purpose of education in creating a more just society. Um, One of the people whose work has influenced my thinking a lot on this topic is Paulo Freire, and this is his kind of seminal book, The Pedagogy of the Oppressed. And one of the points he gets at in there is that education is a political act. Um, I know as we enter this course of diverse learners, it seems like wouldn't it just be easier to just not deal with any of this. We're just going to teach just to teach, or just teach the normal stuff, but not worry about justice or things like that. The thing is, and part of his argument is that education is always a political act. Who we educate and how we educate has political implications. So, for example, a lot of his work dealt with revolutionaries in Brazil. And so if you educate people who are disenfranchised to try to provide them a means to advance themselves, that is education as a political act. If you try to educate to just leave things the way they are, that is also a political act. So if you educate to not change the system or to not address injustices, that is a political act. So there is not a version of education that does not have political implications. That's just not the way education works. And so when we are considering diverse students that come into our classrooms, there are implications for how we teach them, and do we try to teach them and give them an equitable opportunity to learn, to try to address injustices that they may experience in their life, give them resources to overcome barriers and injustices they experience in their life. And if we don't consider those, that's an action to leave those injustices in place. And so I know for many of you, there might be varying levels of comfort in talking about issues such as race or sexual orientation or gender or socioeconomic status, or all those things, or all those kind of areas that we perceive potential injustices. And it might be one where it's uncomfortable for me to talk about race. I would just rather not deal with it. It's uncomfortable for me to talk about sexual orientation or gender. I would rather not deal with it. The thing is that if we do not address those, injustices students experience in those areas will continue. And we will be helping those to continue. And so if it is something that you're not comfortable with, we want to work on making sure that you get that way. And it's okay to be uncomfortable with it now, but to recognize that it's something that you need to become comfortable with, and that you need to prepare yourself to deal with in the classroom. Because those students will be counting on you to address the injustices and the barriers that they experience, and to account for those, and to make them feel welcome in your classroom. And as an educator, that is your responsibility, and we want to make sure that I help prepare you for that.